not, but if you do stick $3 million into him, at least maybe you can be an announcer or something like that, where you can do less damage and maybe spend 5 or 6 years being an announcer.
Right, I would agree with that. So, and then the Wild, of course, the one thing we haven't even talked about yet, the coaching search, really quiet on there. They make not maybe a mistake with Todd Richards, but an inexperienced coach coming in. I've heard some rumors about Mike Yao maybe being the next coach in the organization already in Houston. Can you afford to bring another inexperienced guy? Now, I obviously know he has more experience at the NHL level. He was an assistant with Pittsburgh for 4 years. Coach Sidney Crosby, coach of Evgeny Malkin. So maybe a little more respect as I coach the best player in the league. The rest of you shut up and listen to me. But can you afford to do that?
And that's fine, but we had the same conversation about Todd Richards 2 years ago when he was coaching the Sharks, and he came from Pittsburgh, and he was in the minor leagues there. We had the same conversation about a same coach.
Right.
Okay? You don't know what you're going to get. With some of these other guys, Ken Hitchcock, the Craig McTavish, a handful of other guys that are in the league and available, you know what you're going to get.
Right.
A proven winner, a proven leader, a proven coach. They cannot. It's so crucial right now that they cannot screw this up again, because it sets the team back so much farther.
Well, the thing that scares me is Ken Hitchcock, a guy that we both like a lot, Stanley Cup winner in Dallas. They're not even talking to the guy. He says at the World Championships when he's talked to about any coaching vacancies, the Wild have not even contacted him. Frightens me a little bit.
I think you wait and see and you watch. I think Leopold, the owner, I think he might have something more to say about this. Well, I think you wait and watch. Hitchcock, I guarantee you, will be mentioned in the Wild coaching job.
Well, Chuck Fletcher got a get out of jail free card with the Todd Richards firing.
Once.
If he misses on the next guy, he goes before the coach goes, or they're packing each other's bags as they leave the holiday.
And how many times have you seen Leopold in the paper voice his concern about how bad the team has been? He wants a winner. He wants a winner now. So do the fans, obviously.
But what has Leopold done as an owner to show you that he's? I mean, at least Ziggy Wilf, when he says he wants a winner, he spends Jared on. We're getting in Brett Favre. Yeah. We're going top of the line, all in or nothing. What has Leopold done?
It doesn't look like much, and to me, from the outside looking in, I don't know the guy, obviously. He doesn't seem like a hockey guy.
Right.
He doesn't seem like he really knows his hockey.
He had some money, wanted to own a team. It's really nice to tell my friends I own the Wild.
And
I think you could be onto something there.
We're a team right now that might have to get worse to get better in the long run.
How much worse can we get?
No, I know.
I mean, we're bad.
I know, but we're draft-wise. We're gonna have to go through a few seasons where we get worse before we get better. Because I don't think the patch gets sewn on this team in the form of a Band-Aid with a free agent. I don't think he's out there. I don't think he's coming here no matter how much money you pay him, because this is a cursed franchise.
But when you think of it, it's a place that you should want to come to if you're a hockey player. You can't ask for much more. The fans support the Cal Clutterbucks of the world. If you're good and come here, they're going to love you. And then a little excitement for the Wild fans. Mikhail Granlund scores that great goal in the World Championships. Yeah. You get a little excited, and then of course we hear, one more year.
He's going to
He's the Ricky Rubio of the NHL right now.
Another year in Finland. However, maybe by then, when we make some moves, we can get a guy over here like that, and he can really add.
Yeah, he comes in and maybe he's a top 6 forward immediately instead of having to kind of go through the struggles of the Colton Gillies that you mentioned.
Yep.
Yeah, and not a lot of talent in the minor leagues, but maybe with the right coach, as Mike Yao got some guys I thought are very untalented down in Houston. He's gotten them to the Western Conference Finals and the AHL playoffs. And maybe a guy like get some more of the talent, Jacques Lemaire style, because for years we weren't playing with a full decking with Lemaire here, but the guy obviously knew how to coach much better than Todd Richards ever dreamed of.
He managed some pretty bad teams to 500 records, which is respectable, to be honest with you. But even if the Wild did want to make a move or adjust their roster, there's nobody that's going to be a trade partner because we really don't have a whole lot to offer them.
Right.
We've signed some people some bad contracts that are way too expensive that nobody wants to take on. In the minor league system, there's not a whole lot of people to get excited about.
Right. And the Todd Richards experiment, we always called him 2 minutes behind Todd because you'd get that shot of him on the bench and he looked like he didn't really realize what was happening. We had gotten a penalty and Todd still was thinking about the goal that got scored a couple minutes ago. I'm not going to miss that look of confusion. If you're going to be a bad coach, not say he was a bad coach, I guess. He had an over 500 record. But if you're going to lead the team, look like you can lead the team. If I have no confidence in you, I'm guessing the guy that sees you every day probably has no confidence in you.
And I think the hockey game that's best suited for Todd Richards might be an assistant role, maybe even college hockey. You know what I mean? I think he can maybe generate some more enthusiasm from those type of players. and from that position than maybe he could as a leader of an NHL team. I think he was a little bit over his head.
Right. So that's a little bit of Wild talk for you guys. People watching, we don't have a whole lot of fans out there yet, so maybe the Wild's a little out of your sports range right now, but
definitely out of season.
We're passionate Wild fans, so we're going to talk about it here on the Sports Underground. Before we end this segment, just a little bit on the Timberwolves. I don't want to get long-winded here because obviously the Wolves season has been done forever, and you and I both agree the NBA, not a great product, not something I enjoy watching.
Right now.
But I do like the fact we get to draft time and make a lot of trades. David Kahn kind of excites me because I don't know if the guy knows what he's doing, but he likes the wheel and deal, and I'm okay with that.
It is fun to watch, and it's always a crapshoot with the Wolves. Their season was over, a good point, in October last year, I believe.
Yeah,
However, they do end up getting in the second pick in the draft, which is nice and fun and all, but how many years have we deserved the number one pick, regardless of who the number one pick is?
3 years, never got it, and get this for a stat. Every year we've been in the lottery, we've never moved up. We've always stayed the same or moved down.
Yep.
How is that for a cursed franchise?
It can't get any worse. It can't get any worse for this Timberwolves team, and I feel sorry for them because honestly, there were some fun points to watch last year. Some players they brought in that were a little bit fun to watch.
Right.
They put together a team, and they talk about veteran leadership. Maybe that's what's needed. Maybe a different coach. Maybe a different owner. I don't know.
But it's every year it's a new coach. It's every year it's a new GM. I mean, we've talked about this till we've been blue in the face. We had Flip Saunders. Maybe we didn't know how good we had it with Flip, or even with Kevin McHale. Maybe he should have been the coach of this team. But 2 years ago, I might have watched 30 seconds of Wolves basketball. Last year, I probably watched 15 to 20 games.
I agree.
Because Michael Beasley coming in gave me a little bit of excitement, and Kevin Love, I like Kevin Love. He's an easy guy to root for because he's your everyday bring the lunch pail to work kind of guy. The 30 and 20 performance, I think that the double streak got blown way out of proportion because when you're a bad team, someone's got to get the rebounds for you. Yep. Someone's got to score. If you put him on the Bulls or the Heat, he's a nice 15-point, 11 rebound a game guy, but you're not going to hear the hype about the streak. The Wolves made way too much about it, but he did make the All-Star game probably because of the hype they put behind him.
But you got to sell someone when you're that franchise.
Right.
And obviously playing basketball in Minnesota in the wintertime isn't like playing in LA, isn't like playing in Miami, isn't like playing in Orlando, some of the warmer, sexier cities to play in.
Right. You are the number 4 sports team in this town. You're way behind the Wild even. They're a solid number 3. Vikings, way out on top.
They might be behind the Gophers, and the Gophers aren't a good product right now.
Yeah,
any Gophers team, football or hockey.
So the Wolves, what we're talking about right now, draft-wise, they get the second pick in the draft. Obviously, I guess you can use any player you can get, but how much younger do you want to get every single year? Is there a point where you take and move the 2 pick to try and get some veterans in here, or do you take the next guy available? If Kyrie Irving is there, do you take a point guard even though you have Ricky Rubio in the background, or do you look at Arizona and you hope that he's the real deal?
You have to look at Derek Williams and think to yourself, okay, our number one Kyrie Irving's gone. Derek Williams is the second prize, so to speak. Right?
And there's only supposed to be 2 prizes in the draft. Yeah.
Consolation prize. The rest of the draft can go away. We don't need them. But thank God we got one of the top 2 picks. What you do with that is important. Are you going to get a veteran player that says, you're trading me where? And it doesn't want anything to do with us.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff in sports that I guarantee you we don't know goes on.
Right.
Okay. Are we going to get... I don't even know. What are we going to get for that second pick?
Mm-hmm.
We're the Timberwolves. We have no leverage.
Right. Well, and Derek Williams, if you draft him, he comes into kind of a muddled Wolves forward picture where you have Kevin Love and Beasley. Kevin Love definitely a power forward. Beasley a power forward, small forward swing. Same with Derek Williams. He says he's a number 3 who can play a 4, but still, all of our good pieces are kind of all the same guy.
Well, isn't Wes Johnson a forward too?
And Wes Johnson, you just drafted last year. They played him at shooting guard a lot this year, maybe out of position for him. But if you look at Oklahoma City kind of being the model of all the young teams in the league, they have James Harden and they have Kevin Durant. And Harden's still okay coming off the bench. Nice spark, especially last night, 23 points off the bench. So could you take Wes Johnson? Could you put him on the bench? Could you start Derek Williams? And then, maybe Johnson, who was supposed to have been this great shooter coming out of college, you really didn't shoot the lights out this year.
And then but then you start building some depth, and maybe you get a little more formidable. And I mean, it's pretty sad to say, but 25 wins for this team is an improvement. Something to maybe get excited for the future about.
Right. So just a little Wolves talk. Derek Williams, I guess, makes the most sense because we have Rubio coming over from Europe. But if you moved him for some kind of veteran, I don't trust David Kahn and what he's going to get for it. But I do like the fact there's a little intrigue, and the fact that we've been talking about the Timberwolves. I guess that's enough said about where the product is. It's a little more exciting than it was a couple of years ago.
I agree. Yep.
So thanks a lot for watching. That's going to wrap up the second video blog, Sports Underground. A little more information this time than we gave you the last time. So once again, this is Mike. I'm Kent. We thank you very much for watching, and we hope that you'll come back and check us out. We'll try and come back sooner than this took between times to get you the next installment. Thanks again. We'll see you next time on Sports Underground.